Today I'm in Wichita, Kansas to get to know Brian with Top Notch Lawn Care.
How's it going? Well, this is the first time that you've been driving that I've ever been driving with you. You know that? Do you realize that? Because every time we've been in the car together, someone else is always driving.
Well, I like that a little bit better. I like just sitting back and chilling.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about this right now, but
well, I can tell you one thing. I'm a better driver than Wally is.
Yeah, he was a little scary, but he was good at multitasking. But you know, honestly, I kind of feel like I've been in the car with you plenty of times before. Maybe because you're always filming in the truck, you know. So like, I feel like I'm right here, man. I feel like this is home.
Yeah. I hope everybody feels that way. I mean, everybody's seen enough of this truck to kind of feel that way, I think.
This is a big truck. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. You know, that's just the thing about pictures and video. You never really see the full perspective until you see it in person. But it's a big boy. I had to like jump up in here, and I'm not short.
Yeah. Yeah. I like my big old truck. I do.
Me too. These are the old top-notch stripes.
Yeah. You can still see them.
Depressing. Yeah. These are the old top-notch stripes.
Oh, I think I'm gonna cry.
Man. It's a top-notch life.
And this was kind of the. This was the big one.
So what happened? What like, how come you're not gonna be? How come that was a sad drive?
That was kind of, kind of a sad drive.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I'm not doing my big contract anymore. This might be the first time anybody's ever hearing that. But I did a video a while back talking about raising my prices and my payment schedule. I wanted to do a little bit differently because I didn't like the way it was set up. I got I don't like using the word screwed, but
taken advantage of.
Just things didn't jive as well as I wanted them to. I wanted a little bit more security, and I wanted a little bit more control over my pay instead of somebody just being able to say I can cut you off anytime I want. That with the price increase that I wanted, they wasn't willing to do that, so we parted ways. That's basically that in a nutshell.
Yeah. I remember you were saying, I remember now you were saying that they changed management too, so that was a whole
Yep, they did. You know, the upper level people are still there, but like they changed property managers, and you know,
they want to do things their way.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I mean, honestly, I'm very, very excited that this happened. I really am. My wife's super excited. The stress level just went from here to here, just right off the bat, and it allows me to. I'm going to have one guy come work with me, and I'm going to be on the truck at all times. It allows me to be more in control of my work now, not have to deal with, you know, is Joe Blow going to show up for work today? What's this guy doing? This guy's late. Not have to deal with 4 different employees, and just do my thing. And I'm really excited about this year.
That sounds awesome. That's like I told you before, it might be a blessing in disguise. You know.
I think you're right, and that's my wife said the exact same thing. And I told my wife what I did. I told her I raised the prices, and I told her I did this and that. And she literally told me, like, well, just don't do any of that. Just call them up and say you don't want it. And I said, well, you know,
Yeah.
if it's the right price, I'm willing to put up with some headache. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of raising the price is, you know, things are more, you know, you're more likely to deal with a little bit of BS for the right amount of money.
Right. You're definitely not going to deal with that for nothing.
Yeah, you know, and I've been, you know, that was kind of my thing, you know. I want a little bit more money so I can put up with the BS. Basically.
But they don't want to pay a little more money, so no more BS
Yeah.
from you.
I think what actually happened is the level of BS, you know, like they thought the level was here, and I think the level of BS is here. So that might be where the
Your levels didn't match.
yeah, our levels of BS did not match up.
So good riddance to them, but it still was sad and nostalgic.
Deuces.
Peace.
Seen that? Oh man.
Oh man. Need to go to the UPS store and get that, man.
Yeah. Well, it won't be back there now because it's on the truck.
Oh man. This is like real life here.
Mi casa, mi shop.
Nice.
My one blinking light that everybody's noticed on all my videos. It takes
Of
that thing
course.
about an hour or two to warm up where it's not blinking.
And there's the office up there. Do a lot of hanging out in there, huh?
I do a lot of hanging out in there. This is what I see every morning when I come into my, you know, into my office. I see my wall. I see this wall with the letters, my sign, some pictures, and all that kind of stuff. So
That's nice.
it's pretty cool.
Man, look at these letters. That's awesome. What is this like? What does this mean to you? All this?
The letters mean the most because it's actually, I mean, people actually tell me, you know, whatever they're feeling. Yeah, the letters have meaning, and to me, they're pretty special. I like them. I you know, every once in a while, you know, I'll just sit here and I'll just kind of read through them, you know, kind of reread them, you know, because sometimes you forget. And this is, you know, not to get too mushy, but you know,
That's what this channel's all about.
this is, I mean, literally, this is what I love most about doing YouTube and anything else. You know, it's fun to go to Florida, it's fun to do those things, and it's fun to make videos and all that. But to have people, you know, that, you know, see something in you that sometimes you don't see, you know what I mean? It just means a lot. It means a lot, especially when, you know, people are, you know, inspired by what you do, you know, and it just kind of shows that, you know, you're making a difference in somebody's life, and that's pretty cool. This is a little bit messy, but it's all right. It's an office.
There it is.
This is where the magic happens. This is like Cribs. This is my magic.
There you go. Nice. This is a nice size office.
Not bad. Not bad.
This is a sweet sign right here.
I love that. Randy with Countryside gave that to me.
I was gonna ask you, where'd you get that?
Yeah, he got it from a dealer or something, and he sent it to me. The funny backstory about that is I didn't know he was sending that to me. So he sends it, and he basically tells me, "Hey, you got a package coming. You know, I think you're really gonna like it."
Yeah.
And a few weeks go by, and he's messaging me like, "Hey man, did you get that package?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't seen anything." I called my post office and everything, and and he didn't have the tracking number. So, we're going back and forth like almost on the daily because he's worried about,
his package.
Where's my sign at?
And you had no idea what
and I didn't know what it was. And anyway, we ended up finding it, and apparently, whoever was supposed to ship it out had not shipped it out. And anyway, I got it, but I love it. That's like that's kind of my pride possession right now.
That must have been a pretty sweet surprise.
I love that sign, man. I couldn't be more happy with it.
That's like a one of a kind.
Yeah. It's like you can't. The way he explained it, I haven't done any research on it, but like you can't go buy that sign.
Right.
That's a dealer sign. Dealers have it. And that's
where
it.
Did you get it? Yes, that's a special.
That sign actually means a lot to me. It's pretty cool.
The one thing I wanted to start off by asking is, how long have you been in this business? Like, how long have you been in lawn care and landscaping or whatever altogether?
In lawn care altogether, I've been doing this since I was about 15 years old.
Wow.
And, obviously not to this scale or anything like that. And mainly it was just mowing. And, I worked for a company my dad used to work for. He got me started working at a young age, and it was about 15 years old, and I was summer help. I was on the mow crew. And that's all we did was mow. We didn't do any landscaping. We didn't do any mulching. We didn't do anything like that. We just mowed. That was it. And I did that for a long, long, long time. So, I've been doing this for quite a while.
What's the one thing you've learned so far? Like the biggest thing you've learned so far since you've been in business for yourself?
The biggest thing is I didn't know half of what I needed to know. When I started my business, it's, yeah, man, you mow all day. How hard is that, And you don't get the whole business side of it. Yeah. And that I'm still struggling with. I'm still trying to learn and how to get everything just efficient to where it just flows. And, it's hard to do when you're, I'm not really a solo operator, but, I don't have anybody really doing the books for me and keeping track of receipts and doing all that stuff. I mean, I do have an accountant now that does the bigger things as far as like my taxes and things like that. But the day-to-day running a business is stuff that I had no idea that it took this much time and this much effort.
Yeah. So leading off to that, what would be the one thing you would suggest or recommend to someone starting out or that's kind of in the first few years of their business?
Well, I'm a big proponent of kind of learning as you go. But at the same time, I think I would recommend doing some research on how to run businesses, read some books, watch videos, whatever. That's something I didn't do that I probably should have. I focused more on how do I do this type of task as far as lawn care goes, and how do I do this. I didn't focus on, what it takes to actually run a business.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you need to know everything there is to know about running a business before you start one. But it does help if you kind of have some kind of knowledge beforehand, so you're not just starting completely blind and having to backtrack and figure every single thing out on your own. Yeah. It's good to learn as you go. I fully believe that. But man, when you're starting behind the 8 ball and you don't know nothing, man, you're just it's hard to catch up.
You're just setting yourself up for failure if you go completely
blind
and blind and half-assed, as they say,
Yeah, you'll end up stressing about it, and you'll end up, and it's just way more stress than what needs to be if you'd just done a little bit of research.
So where do you see your business going from here? Like, what are some of your future goals?
I want to get into more landscaping. I like mowing and I like doing that, but it gets monotonous. I like the idea of doing, one-time services, for clients and having a different venue all the time and not just the same 50 properties or whatever that you have that you mow every week. And yeah, I was here last week, and I'll be here next week. Yeah. I wanna get into more hardscaping. That's kind of my thing right now. Is I want to learn how to do that and just kind of progress. And I really like the thought of having a customer do a job for them, and you move on to another job site, another scenery. Yeah. You might end up doing another job for that customer later on, but your scenery is always changing. The job is always changing. You're always thinking, and there's always a new challenge with every single job like that.
Right.
You don't get that with lawn care. You know, very rarely do you get that where it's changing all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of moving into that direction, and you know, just offering more services and just trying to be a more complete lawn care company.
Yeah. And I mean, if you, that definitely comes in handy, like as you're doing more commercial property, especially like condos and those kind of things, which I was assuming that's another reason why you just dove into a lot of new things, because when you took over all those condos, you know, they don't want you to say, yeah, I don't do that, or I don't do that. That they want you to just do it all. You know, they want one contract for the most part, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've always thought, as you know, any business, especially us, you know, we're problem solvers. That's what we're supposed to do. You know, customer has a problem, we're supposed to know how to fix it, and we're supposed to solve that problem for that customer.
Right.
And you know, customers don't want to hear, yeah, sorry, you're gonna have to call, you know, Naylor down the street to handle that part of it. I don't do that, but I'll take care of this for you.
Yeah.
You know, so now you're going to have two different people to deal with, and that's more headache for the customer.
Yeah. Slightly different topic. Social media, how has that impacted your business, or has it impacted your business?
It has. It's definitely impacted my business more. It impacts me more personally than it does affect my business. I don't get a lot of customers from social media. I don't, you know, it doesn't impact my business that way. But what it does, it allows me to try different things. That allows me to, you know, to kind of see behind the scenes. It's kind of like the Gravely thing where, you know, we both just left from. You have no extent on, you know, the way a company goes about things and how they test equipment, what they do to equipment, you know, just the things that they're trying to do to improve their equipment. You would never know that if you wasn't a part of social media. You wouldn't know. All you would know is that's a Gravely mower. That's all, you know, that's it. You wouldn't know anything else. But it's also good to where we can go to these places and learn about their mowers, but you see how they run their business. And you see, you know, kind of how family oriented they are and how kind of down to earth they are. And they're not some God on a pedestal that, you know, that you think that you can never get to that point. Yeah. They're just another person that puts their pants on just like we are. And to me, that's the biggest thing, is you actually get to see that, you know, these guys are, I mean, they're just hardworking people. That's how they got to where they are. Yeah. And, you know, in order for us to, you know, do things like that, you're going to have to be a hardworking person as well.
So now completely switching gears now.
I love it.
Let's talk about Brian. Okay. What are some of the things that you're most happiest about?
Happiest about? Just
like
in my life.
Your whole life.
You know, my family. My family's number one to me. You know, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I work a lot. You know, I probably work too much, just to be honest.
How do you do? Speaking of that, how do you handle it all, man?
It's what I've always done, man. It's what I've always done. I've always worked two jobs. I've always done, you know, whatever it takes. And I get that mindset from my dad. My dad was a hardworking man. You know, most of his life he worked multiple jobs. And my mom, she worked, but she stayed home with us a lot. And you know, when Tyler, my oldest son, was born, you know, we knew he had a disability, and my wife wanted to stay home with him. So in order for her to stay home with him but still be able to afford things like a house and a car, I had to work two jobs. And, you know, I did that. I've been doing that my whole life. And that's just kind of, it's second nature to me. It's what I do. You know, I work. I make money. I bring, you know, I provide for my family, you know, and I try to be there as much as I can. Obviously, you know, I'm not there as much as I probably would like to be. And, you know, that's just something that, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, my family is number one for me. You know.
Yeah, and that's what you're the happiest about.
Yeah, and you know, obviously I try to provide for my family. I try to, you know, give my family every advantage that they have, and that's what I do. You know, and that's why I do what I do. And it's harder. It's more difficult when you have kids with disabilities because they need other things than what, you know, and those other things cost money. You know, we've spent a lot of money on, you know, different things for, you know, my kids, to where they can try to come out and, you know, get more knowledge and things like that. And there's just, you know, it's just the way it is. You know, and like I said, for the longest time, my wife wanted to stay home because he needed somebody with him at all times. Yeah. You know, and that's just not something you just trust on somebody down the street, right. You know, that, you know, doesn't really know. And you're talking about therapies, speech, physical, all kinds of stuff. All that stuff costs money, you know, and yeah. It's just what it's just what I know. It's what I do, and you know.
So for people that don't know, for one reason or another, maybe they missed it on your channel, or maybe for some weird reason they've never even heard of you or seen your channel, and this is the first time. So you have 2 jobs. How many hours do you work not in lawn care, your other job?
My other job is full-time. I work 3 12s a week, so it's 36 hours a week.
36 hours in 3 days.
In 3 days, and I do that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then it allows me to do my lawn care full-time.
The whole rest of the week.
It's funny because I get a lot of questions, or a lot of people say, hey, have you gone full-time in your lawn care yet?
And you've been full-time.
And I've always been full-time.
Yeah.
You know, I work, you know, sometimes 5-6 days a week.
Because people don't realize, you know, when you hear, you know, I have a full-time job and I also do lawn care, it's just I guess a natural default to think that that's part-time lawn care, because you know, how can you have 2 full-time jobs, right? That's just insanity.
It's insane, right? It's stupid. What are you doing?
But also the mentality is thinking, you know, full-time is, you know, like 5 days a week, you know, and you know, 40 hours or whatever minimum is full-time for people. So how could you do that? That'd be almost impossible unless you had no family or you never saw them. But because you pack it all into 3 days, you know, almost 40 hours in 3 days, that allows you, you know, all that extra time for the other.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique situation. I really do believe that. You know, it's hard. Most people, when they think of full-time job, they think of first shift. They think of, you know, 9 to 5, whatever. Right. And, you know, you get off at 5 o'clock, you know, you might do lawn care part-time. You go cut for 2 or 3 hours whenever it gets dark, then you're done. You know, but, you know, just the way my schedule is, it allows me to do both. And, you know, it's taxing. I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. But you know, you do what you got to do, and it's just the way my life is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I need to ask, because I feel like the answer would be, you know, my family. You know, like you know, I'm sure you have those days where you're like, oh man, you know, and then you're just like, I gotta go, because, you know, it's for my family, it's for my life, for my family's life. Like, I don't have any options. You know, I mean, I do have options, but they're not the ones I want to choose. You know, so I want to stick with, you know, moving forward and just keep on getting it done for my family, regardless of how tired you are or whatever. So.
Exactly. You know, there's days where I'm pretty worn out, and I ain't gonna lie. You know, there's days where I'm just like, oh, really. You know, can I push this one off till tomorrow? And there's sometimes I do that. You know, I'm not perfect, and
but it's
you
not
know,
a big major thing.
No. There's sometimes, you know, like I do, you know, I do kind of listen to my body as well. Right. You know, I know when I've had enough. Oh, yeah. I know when I'm done. You know, and I don't want any accidents or anything like that to happen because I'm tired or whatever. So I know my limits. I've been doing this a long time. I know my limits, and I know what I can get away with and what I can't. And I know when it's time to say, I'm done. I got to go home.
Thank you for your time, Brian. You're a good man.
I appreciate it, man. It's nice having you.
Thanks for bringing me down, or letting me come down here and drive the top-notch truck.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and click the bell for future notifications. Check back for the next episode in 2 weeks and catch my live show on EchoMeansBusiness.com every 3rd Wednesday of the month.